Enough supply of water. What does supply mean? Supply is an amount that is available, okay? Supply of surface water. What is surface? Surface is the flat top part of something or the outside of something. Sur means at the top and face is face, okay? So it means on the face, okay? This comes from rain and snow. So the supply comes from rain and snow. It soaks into the ground and descends to the underground tunnels that comprise the geysers' plumbing. It soaks into the ground. What does soak mean? Soak means to make something completely wet by a liquid, alright? And if something soaks into the ground, it passes the ground and it goes below. Okay? And descends to the underground tunnels. Descend, what does that mean? Descend means go down. Do you understand? What is the opposite then? Ascend, okay? Means go up. Descends to the underground tunnels that comprise, what is a tunnel? Tunnel is a long passage, okay? Under the ground, okay? And it's made through the hills or under sea, okay? Tunnels. Tunnels that comprise, what does comprise mean? If something comprises something else, that something else is the part forming the something. Do you understand? A comprises B means B is a part of forming A. You understand? You can use it as A comprises B, or you can say A is comprised of B. Both the case is possible. That's the same meaning. Tunnels that comprise the geysers' plumbing. What is plumbing? Plumbing is the water or drainage pipes and baths and toilets in a building. That's the plumbing, okay? So geysers' plumbing would be the passage that the water flows underground. In addition, the water must accumulate for a long period of time. In addition, what does that mean? In addition means to add, okay, to say more. The water must accumulate. What does that mean, accumulate? Accumulate means collecting or gathering, okay? Accumulate, okay? You must gather or collect for a long period of time. What is period? Period is the length of time. How long? Well, scientists estimate that Yellowstone's numerous geysers discharge around 70 million gallons of water a day. Scientists estimate that. What does estimate mean? Estimate means make an approximate judgment, right? Or a calculation of something. So it's like guessing the quantity or the amount. Yellowstone's numerous geysers. What does numerous mean? Numerous means in a large number, okay? Discharge around. What does discharge mean? Discharge means to let something out, okay? Discharge. Around means about 70 million gallons of water a day. 70 million. So how many zeros in 70 million? It's 7, right? 70 million. Gallon. What's a gallon? Gallon is the measuring unit of liquid, okay? And 1 gallon is approximately 4 liters. So 70 million gallon would be 280 million liters, okay? British is RE, while American is ER, okay, the spelling. That's a lot of water, huh? So it can take around 500 years or so for enough water to build up to enable a geyser to form. It can take around 500 years or so. What does that mean, or so? Or so means it's not exact, around that number. For enough water to build up. What does that mean, build up? It's the same as accumulate, gather, all right? Collect. To enable a geyser to form. Enable, what does that mean? If you have en at the front of a word, it means make something into what comes next. So enable means make something able, okay? Enlarge means make something large. You can have words like that. So let's go to the next part.
What's next? Well, there has to be underground heat from molten rock. In other words, there should be a volcanic heat source. Third, again under the ground, there needs to be what's called a plumbing system. It functions as a pressure chamber. The plumbing system is basically a series of cavities or porous spaces just beneath the ground. And there needs to be a constriction at some point near the top. By the way, we categorize geysers according to the shapes of their plumbing systems. We'll discuss that in a bit, though.
Okay, what is this part about? This part is about the second and third condition for a geyser to form. Okay. So the first condition was an adequate supply of surface water, and the second here was underground heat from molten rock. What was the third? A plumbing system. Okay. So what is a plumbing system? It's a series of cavities or porous spaces beneath the ground. Okay, and there needs to be a constriction at some point near the top. Okay, and that's what this part is about. There has to be underground heat from molten rock. What is heat? Heat is the warmth, all right, or the quality of being hot from molten rock. What does molten mean? Molten means molten rock or metal or glass, okay, is heated to a very high temperature and forms a very thick, hot, thick liquid. That's molten, okay, molten rock. In other words, there should be a volcanic heat source. In other words, what does that mean? In other words, that means to use a different expression, okay? There should be a volcanic. What does volcanic mean? Volcanic means created from volcano. What is a volcano? Oh my God. Volcano is a mountain, okay, from which hot melted rock called lava and gas and ash and steam come out, okay. It's caused by the heat inside the earth. Do you understand? Volcanic heat source. What's a source? Source is a place or a person or a thing that you get something from. Okay, source. Again, under the ground. Third, again, under the ground, there needs to be what's called a plumbing system. Plumbing system. What is a system? System is a set of things having a certain purpose or function. Okay? It functions as a pressure chamber. It functions as, what does function mean? Function is a useful thing that something does. Okay? If something functions as something else, it works as something else. Some functions as pressure chamber. What is pressure? Pressure is the force that is produced when you press hard on something, all right? Pressure chamber. What's a chamber? Chamber is a room, okay? Designed or equipped with something. You understand? For a certain purpose, okay? The plumbing system is basically a series of cavities or porous spaces just beneath the ground. The plumbing system is basically, what does basically mean? Basically means it's simply, alright? Simply a series of cavities. What is a series? Series is a number of things coming one after the other. Series of cavities. What's a cavity? Cavity is a hole or space inside something. Do you understand? Like inside a solid object or inside a person's body. Cavity. Or porous spaces. What does porous mean? Porous means having a lot of little holes. Do you understand? Having a lot of little holes. Pores are little holes on your skin. Okay? Porous spaces just beneath the ground. What does beneath mean? Beneath means under. And there needs to be a constriction at some point near the top. Constriction, what is this? Constriction means it's somewhere becoming narrower, okay? Making something narrower, all right? So the passage getting narrow, so there's more pressure. By the way, we categorize geysers according to the shapes of their plumbing systems. By the way, what does this mean? You use by the way when you want to talk about something that you just thought of that might or might not be connected to what you have just said. We categorized. What does that mean? Categorize means divide something into groups, okay? And those groups, the member of those groups have similar characteristics, alright? Categorize geysers according to. What does that mean, according to? According to means by something. By the shapes of their plumbing systems. Accord means agreeing to. But you don't use the expression agreeing to, okay? It's just the meaning. We'll discuss that in a bit, though. What does though mean? Though means but. But we'll discuss that in a bit. Let's go to the next part.
Fourth, there must be silica-rich rocks. These provide the silica that seals the plumbing system. We call this material geyserite. It keeps the pressure in the geyser contained until it's time for the geyser to erupt. All four of these conditions are necessary for a geyser to exist. That explains why they're so rare throughout the world. Now, let's look at the different types of geysers. Open your books to page 287, please.
So what is this part about? The fourth condition for a geyser to form. What is that? Silica-rich rocks, all right? And these provide the silica that seals the plumbing system. Okay? And it keeps the pressure contained until it erupts, okay? Okay, and the professor also talked about these conditions are necessary. All four of these conditions are necessary. That's why the geysers are so rare throughout the world.